Yes, my name is Rick. That's short for Richard. And I do think it's the best version of that name. And you gotta understand, like, my parents, when I was a kid, called me Ricky as a kid. And, like, you can't be a Ricky as an adult. Right? Like, if your doctor introduced himself, like, hey, I'm Dr. Ricky, I think you'd all be like, fuck, we're not gonna make it. And that's not the worst thing. Like, when I was a kid, like, the other kids in school let me know that the most common name for Richard is Dick. Yeah. That's a tough thing to find out at 11 years old. Like, there's no female version of that. Like, I've never met a woman who's like, hi, my name's Patricia. You can call me Pussy. And it got worse for me, because my middle name is Ed. E-D, yeah. For those of you doing the math in your head, yeah. My entire childhood, I was just known as Dickhead. It caused a lot of resentment between me and my parents. And I know some of you are like, well, you can't blame your parents. Maybe they didn't know. Maybe it was a coincidence. But I'm a junior. Yeah. My dad has the same fucking name. He knew exactly. My dad, he doubled down on Dickhead. He was like, I'm going to be big dickhead, you'll be little dickhead, let's go. I don't talk to him anymore. I'm also a veteran of the U.S. military. That is not usually the reaction I get in Europe. Yeah, that's usually the reaction I get. But listen, when I tell people in the U.S. that, it's equally an awkward reaction, right? Like, people will, like, thank me for my service, which is fucking weird. Like, I'm always like, oh, I didn't have options. Like, guys, like, I did really bad in school. Like, my options were military or McDonald's. And if I knew I was going to go to Afghanistan, I probably would have chosen McDonald's. And like, you have the same chance of getting shot. It's just a short But then I'm also a diabetic. Yeah, which was weird for me because I got diagnosed later in life. Like, I got diagnosed when I got out of the military. So, like, I was 27. So I survived Afghanistan and came home to find out that I can be killed by a Snickers bar. And for those of you who don't know, like, diabetes, it's a chronic disease and nobody cares about it. Like, nobody. Right? The only reason we even know about diabetes medication is because you can lose weight on it now, right? Did you know how frustrating it is to go to the pharmacy to get your medicine to find out they're sold out because Becky didn't want to get on a treadmill? Like, and I know they don't care about us because, like, there are other medications you can take to lose weight. Like, you can lose a ton of weight on chemo. I'm just saying there's options. I'm not saying there's options. I get it. Cancer's bad. But like, the technology around cancer is pretty amazing. Right? Like there's actually, I don't know if you know this, there's a test that women can do. But they'll test for a gene, and if you have the gene, you have like a 90% chance of getting breast cancer. Right? So then when they find that out, and the option is they just cut their breast off, which really highlights the difference between men and women. Right? Because when women are given a choice between life and boobs, they choose life every time. They didn't even bother developing that test for men. You can ask every guy in here and tell them, hey, we did the screening, you have a 90% chance of testicular cancer, we're going to remove your nuts. Every guy says the same thing, right? We're like, we'll take our chances. I think we're going to take our chances. But I do... That didn't happen. I do have kids. Yeah. Some of you guys look surprised, and nobody was more surprised than me. Yeah. They told me condoms were 99% effective. Apparently you have to use the condoms for that to be true. Right? But when you do have kids, like, you always want to improve on what your parents did, right? Like, you want to do better for your kids. And some people have it easier than others, right? Like, if your parents are crackheads, you just have to feed your kids like once, twice a month, and you're doing pretty good. But like, even if your parents are good parents, like, you want to do better for your kids. So like, when I found out my wife was pregnant, like, we bought all the books, like all of them. And then my parents were like oddly offended by that. Like, my mom came over and she's like, we didn't have books and you turned out just fine. I was like, sure, but you guys had lead paint and polio, so maybe we'll crack a couple of books. Like, also, I do find it a weird way to evaluate your parenting skills. To be like, oh, you turned out okay, so all my decisions were right. Like, I know that's not true. Like, tonight I am going to get drunk and get behind a wheel of a vehicle. I'm hoping it turns out fine. It doesn't matter how many times it turns out finally, Uber will fire you. Like every time. And like, I also know my parents didn't make the best decisions, because like when I was 6 years old, they sent me on an airplane by myself to my grandparents' house. Which is a wild thing to do at 6 years old, right? Like, you gotta understand that at 6 years old, like, my biggest accomplishment was, like, I'm just learning how to pee in the big boy potty. And if we're being honest, like, I'm getting that 60% of the right. Like, I don't think my next milestone should be independent air travel. And, like, I don't want to say the name of the airline, but it starts with D and it ends with Delta. But, like, the stranger that my parents gave me to at Delta to put on this airplane, on the flight home, they put me on the wrong plane. Yeah. So they lost me. Like luggage. Like, I had to wait with the lost luggage for them to rebook me on a flight. For those of you wondering why I do comedy, that's the reason. But I got older and I asked my mom, I was like, what would possess you to give your 6-year-old child to the airline? And my mom said, and I quote, "We figured, what are the chances?" I was like, that's a wild way to make decisions about your child, right? Like, you're not deciding whether to hit on 14 at the blackjack table. Like, this is your child. Also, Mom, the chances were 50%. They lost me 1 out of 2 times. But I'm married now, which is fun. And like, I've been married for 19 years. It's a long time. You guys shouldn't be that surprised, okay? But we'll take it. No, 19 years, like, people will ask, they'll be like, hey, what's the secret? And to be honest, there's no secret, right? The secret is realizing you're both a little bit fucking crazy, and you just have to buy into, like, we're gonna figure out your brand of crazy. Like, that's it. Like, my wife's particular brand of crazy is she likes to test me, but she doesn't tell me that they're tests. And I find out way too late. Like, a couple weeks ago, we were sitting on the couch, we were watching TV, and she leaned over to me and she said, hey, I think if you ever cheated on me, I would forgive you. Yeah, I do not know how to respond to that. Like, it feels like a test, right? Like, and listen, I don't know the right reaction, but I can tell you the wrong reaction. The wrong reaction is joy. You cannot high-five her like she just gave you a whole back. And like, I do think she would forgive me, I do. I don't think it would be out of love. I think it would be out of the desire to torture me, right? Like, I can see it now, like, we'd be planning dinner, and she'd be like, hey, I'm thinking about Chinese for dinner, and we're like, oh, I'm kind of in the mood for Italian, and she'd be like, was that where you fucked Italian? Was it having Chinese for the rest of my life? But I won't cheat on her, I can't. We have 3 kids. Yeah, because I am a slow learner. We have 3 kids, but I don't think I can cheat on her. And like, I don't know if it's different in Europe as it is in the U.S., right? But like, in the U.S., they don't train you to have kids, which is kind of wild, right? Like, because you can be trained to become a nanny to watch someone else's kids, but if you make the kid, they just give you the kid. That's what they do, right? And like, with our first kid, like, there was a big thing going on. It was like, don't shake your baby, right? Like, that was a big thing. I think it's still a thing, but back then it was very important. But like, the TV commercials were like, don't shake the baby. There was like pamphlets. It was like, this is what happens if you shake the baby. Every medical professional that touched the baby was like, don't shake this baby. And I remember turning to my wife and I was like, who the fuck would shake a baby? Like, that is insane. And then they send you home with the baby. At the end of that first week, I really want to shake this fucking baby. Not a lot, but enough to shut the fuck up. I didn't do it, guys. I didn't. That's an important part of this joke, because I did not shake the baby. You know you're not supposed to, but sometimes it's hard. What you end up doing is like patting him on the back really hard. Like, I don't know if anyone's had a kid, but you just start doing this like really aggressive. My wife will come in like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying not to shake this fucking baby. But no, our oldest now is 17, which is the age you do have to knock on their door before you go in. I told my wife that and she was horrified. She was like, oh my God, you better never let me catch him doing that. I was like, that's my responsibility? It's an entire operation to make sure you don't catch me jerking off. Like, I don't trust this kid to peel an orange, let alone not jerk off. Also, guys, I have 3 boys. Yeah. I appreciate all of you doing the math. That's 4 dicks. You can't be responsible for all 4 dicks. I feel like it's unfair. So the other thing, so we moved to Barcelona about 3 years ago with the family. And being from America, you know, we came here and the kids really wanted to go to the beach. So we're in Barcelona. But we did our Google research, like we knew. You're going to go to the beach, you're going to, you know, tetas afuera, right? See some topless women. And so, you know, we were like, oh, we need to be prepared. So we sat down with the kids, because you got to understand, as an American, like, you know, we can deal with gun violence, you know, school shootings, but like, if we see tits in public, we can't handle that. So we're like, all right, we're prepared. So we go to the beach, and we're prepared, and we get to the beach, and we were not prepared. Within 5 minutes of being at the beach, a guy took his pants off. And we were shocked. Not because he took his pants off. This guy had a huge dick. I mean, it looked like you had to feed it twice a week and give it a name. Like, it was ridiculous. And then my youngest son, he sees it and he's like, Dad, shouldn't we put sunscreen on? And I was like, yeah, I think you should. And then he ran into the ocean, leaving me there to stare at this guy's dick for way too long. And he did put sunscreen on. Yeah. And I'm watching it and I'm realizing, I'm like, maybe I'm just watching this guy jerk off at the beach. All right, guys, that's my time. Thank you so much.